Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you today the next Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Oh boy, well, first of all, thank you, Rob, thank you, Jason, and thank all the apprentices behind me. They're the future, the backbone of our province, and I'm so grateful to be here again at LiUNA's training center. We have LiUNA training centers all across the province, and that's why we're investing $2.5 billion in making sure we train everyone for the future, for the infrastructure. We're spending over $200 billion. Actually, we've added another $22 billion on top of that, and like I said earlier, it was $1 billion in training. Now we add another $1.5 billion, so $2.5 billion for the skilled trades and other skills all across this province. And I'm just so fortunate. I'm fortunate to have an all-star team, but folks, we're going to add one more member. Tony, you're coming to Queen's Park, God willing. Andrew and Anthony, thank you for all the work that you've been doing down there, and we're going to take Windsor West home. Folks, it's so appropriate. We started here at our campaign, and we're ending our campaign here in Windsor. You know, you just think years ago, when we drove through Windsor many, many years ago, it was quiet. Now, I've always said to people, no one has received more love from our government than Windsor has. And we saw it with a brand new hospital, and dirt's going to be flying. And LiUNA members are going to be the ones building that hospital right here in Windsor, and as well as Lausanne Parkway, Banwell, investment that we're doing in the EV sector and the reciprocal jobs that come with that, widening Highway 3, building long-term care, building new schools, and the list continues to go on. But again, folks, there's one thing that's concerning to all of Canada, and that's the reason I'm wearing this jersey here, to make sure that Donald Trump understands very clearly he does need Canada. He does need our critical minerals. He does need the aluminum and the steel and the energy. And the 1.5 million homes in New York, in Michigan, and Minnesota, they need our energy. As I say, we keep the lights on in New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, and you know, the governors appreciate it. There's only one person in the U.S. that I've talked to, and I've talked to a lot of governors. I've talked to a lot of senators and Congress people. More importantly, I've talked to the American people. No one agrees with President Trump declaring an economic war against his closest ally, his closest friend. So folks, we're going to fight like we've never fought before. I'm going to make sure we protect the families, we're going to protect the businesses, protect the jobs, and we're going to protect the communities. And we're going to get through this. Over the last 7 years, we've seen over 1 million more people employed than we did 7 years ago. You know, Windsor used to be really, really busy 7 years ago. It was the previous government that were chasing all the people south of the border and businesses. All we saw is taillights heading to the Windsor border to employ people in the U.S. 7 years makes a big difference when you have the support of the unions, you have the support of the people. Look where we've come. Stats Canada came out yesterday and said there's over 1 million more people employed since the day we started. When you create the environment, you create the conditions for companies to come here and invest, and we saw over $70 billion of investment over the last 7 years. I give the credit to the people behind me, the people beside me. It's the quality of the people. There's no sub-sovereign nation in the entire world that has greater people than what we have right here in Ontario. Folks, on February 27th, I'm asking you to give me a clear, strong mandate to outlive and outlast the Trump administration. And again, we're going to fight. I'm going to fight like I've never fought before. I'm going to be heading on a call very shortly after this with all the premiers, the chair of the Federation. I'm going to chair a meeting we'll have the PM on, and we can't figure out where Donald Trump's going. One day he's getting the tariffs, the next day he's not, then he's going after steel and aluminum, then he goes after the automotive. He's all over the place, and as far as I'm concerned, it's mass chaos, and his own team doesn't even know what's going on down there. But we know what's going on. We're going to fight like we've never fought before. I want to thank everyone for their support, and I got to show you something. I always say, you know, Canada is not for sale, and Canada will never, ever be the 51st state. When we're watching the hockey game last week, and all of Canada had their televisions just glued to the screen, there was one person that stood out. There was many hockey players stood out. One person in the crowd that I absolutely loved when I saw his jersey, and I don't know who the guy is, but if you can give me a call, my cell number's on the internet, just give me a call. I'd love to meet you, because he said it all with this jersey. Never 51st state. Never will. And we will never be the 51st state. Folks, I want to thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now take questions from the media. Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First question.
Hi, Premier.
Hi.
Sharif Hassan from the Canadian Press.
Yes.
First question. What would be a successful result for the PCs this campaign, and what would you consider to be a failure?
Well, I just want to win. I don't look at the numbers. I just want to win. I want to win a majority, a large majority, until we send a message. We send a message down to Donald Trump that we're a force to be reckoned with, the people of Ontario. We have a clear mandate, and we're going to fight like we've never fought before to make sure we protect the people's jobs and make sure we protect people's families and businesses. That's what we're going to do. It's a united Ontario. It's a united Canada. I've never seen patriotism like this run so wild across this great country of ours. And it's unbelievable. As the Americans, they had 4 or 5 million people watching the game, which was pretty good down in the U.S. Honestly, I believe there was 40 million Canadians in every television, in every household, in every bar, in every restaurant, in every lobby had Team Canada going full steam against the Americans.
Second question. You were stopping Lost in Bonnie Crombie's riding today. Do you think you have a shot at that seat?
I think we have a shot at all 124 seats right across the province. People are feeling it like they've never felt this before. You know, I've been on a lot of campaigns, but I've never seen a more well-oiled machine than what we have right now. And we're just fortunate. I want to thank all the volunteers, all the people. I want to thank the folks from LiUNA that's working their backs off out there, and all the other 20 endorsements from unions. And we're so, so grateful. I'll always have their backs, and I'll never, ever waver. Thanks, guys.
Good morning, Mr. Ford. It's Charlie Pinkerton from the Trillium.
Charlie, they got to keep lifting that up for you rather than you bowing down there.
Get Grace on it.
That's all I know. Grace is amazing, by the way. Yeah.
If anyone in your government is charged as a result of the RCMP's Greenbelt investigation, will you resign as Premier?
You know something? To answer your question, I know that none of our MPPs did anything wrong. I know I didn't do anything wrong, so we're going to move forward, and we've always cooperated with the RCMP.
Will you mind answering the exact question, however, which is, will you resign if anyone in the government is charged?
Again, I'm going to make sure that we're cooperate with the RCMP, and I'm feeling very, very confident. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll tell you one thing, Charlie. People aren't talking about that. They're talking about the economy. They're talking about the tariffs. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about their jobs, and going to fight for the people.
And then as a follow-up, will this be your last provincial election?
Boy, you're asking a question. Man, I want to be Premier forever. You know, I want to beat out Hazel McCallion with a number of years. God bless Hazel. And she's looking down on us, and I can tell you Hazel McCallion is cheering for us. I'll guarantee it, 1,000%.
Hi, it's Chris with CBC News. I got a question for Tony Francis.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
Yes, if you could step to the mic here. You did not take part in any of the debates during this campaign. It's been called a disservice to democracy. Why not take part in any of the debates?
Well, hold on. That's an unfair question because I'm the leader of the party. I would rather have our candidates door knocking, hitting 400 or 500 doors, than a bunch of people from all 3-4 parties. I've been in this game for a long time. You get all your party members there and you listen to a debate. Do you know what the best debate is? When Tony's out there knocking on doors, 300 to 400 a day he's knocking on, and getting signs, getting support, IDing the vote, and getting people to vote. So that's the answer for Tony. It's an unfair question to pose to a candidate. I'm the one who makes that decision.
Tony, do you want to say anything, or do you want the Premier to speak for you?
Go ahead, next question, please.
The U.S. has reportedly threatened to cut Ukraine's access to Starlink over critical minerals. Does this change your position on Ontario's Starlink contract? Do you still plan to go ahead with it?
Well, I don't believe in starting terraforce. And I never, as I say, wearing a hockey jersey, I never throw the first punch. But I'll tell you, I don't believe in starting a fight, but we're going to finish the fight.
Hi there, my name is Madeline Mazak with the Windsor Star. I was just wondering why you chose to make Windsor, Essex one of your last stops on this campaign before Election Day tomorrow. Because
I love the people of Windsor. You know, we've never showed more love to any city anywhere in Ontario. We've shown a lot of love all around Ontario, but nothing like Windsor. You know, we're going to continue attracting opportunities here, businesses here. We're going to build infrastructure here until the great members behind me and the association, I should say the union, go out there and have a paycheck, get a paycheck, and spend. We're spending over $222 billion on infrastructure, and these are the people that are going to be building. So, folks, when you see houses go up, when you see facilities go up, when you see the hospital going up, you can thank the people from LaUna. Thank you.
How confident are you that you can flip the Windsor West riding PC?
Well, I'm confident because the member right there, right now, the NDP, doesn't say a word. Sit there and not say a word. Doesn't represent the people of Windsor. We need a strong voice with Tony. And Anthony and Andrew have done an incredible job. But I call them, we need the triplets down there. They look identical, don't they? So they're going to come down and they're going to have a stronger voice for the people of Windsor. And when you have one group, one person, the MPP that sits there like a lump on a log and doesn't say a word, doesn't do anything, well, now we have a voice. And God willing, people will come out and really reward Tony and the team for showing so much love.
Rusty Thompson from AM 800. Since the late 90s, it's a question that multiple city councils have asked of the province. If you're back for a second term, will you take responsibility of the EC Row Expressway, the Ontario government?
Well, we have a conversation with the mayor, and by the way, I love Mayor Dilkins. The guy's an absolute champion. I just got to correct you, he'll be the third, not the second. But here and there, we're going to make sure we continue investing into Windsor, and we're going to do everything we can to support the people.
But would you, beyond a conversation, I mean, multiple premiers, multiple candidates have been asked, it's a major burden for the city financially, and given its importance now with the hospital, the EV battery plant, and all the development here, would the Ontario government take responsibility and upload that?
We're investing tens of millions of dollars for the Lausanne Parkway and Banwell and other infrastructure across Windsor. So we're taking a massive burden off the backs of the municipalities. But you couldn't ask for a better partner than Mayor Dilkins. He's an absolute champion. You know, he supports me, he endorses me. I consider him a friend, and we'll do everything we can. And as for the premiers and candidates over the years, many premiers, many candidates, many ministers that represented this riding ignored Windsor. They said they were going to build a hospital. They never built a hospital. They said they were going to do Lausanne Parkway and Banwell. They never did it. They said they were going to build long-term care. Never did it. They said they were going to build new schools. Never did it. We're doing all of it, and we're going to continue attracting jobs and investments. And the reason they picked Windsor is because of the quality of the people down here.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi, Maureen from Blackburn News.
Hi.
You said that you want to change Windsor West to give people a voice there. We haven't heard your candidate's voice as the media. Why should you vote? Why should the people of Windsor West vote
Oh,
for-
you'll hear loud and clear when he's heading down to Queen's Park after this week. And again, I want to emphasize, it's not about the media, it's about the people. That's where the media has to differentiate. We'd rather have our candidate, Tony, knocking on hundreds and hundreds of doors, listening to the concerns of the people of Windsor West, and he's going to address those concerns because finally they have a voice. The only difference between Tony and the existing MPP, Tony will show up to your front door. He'll give his cell number to you. He'll work his back off around the clock, and most importantly, he'll have a loud voice for Windsor West that hasn't had a voice down there in decades.
So have you told your candidates not to speak to the media?
I never said that. I said the voice are the people at the doors. It's about the people. It's not about the media, it's about the people. And that's what differentiates us from, I guess, the rest of the parties. We focus on making sure we take care of the people, we protect their jobs, their families, and their businesses that they work for, and we're going to continue having a strong, strong economy moving forward, especially for the people here in Windsor.
Thank you. This concludes today's press
Thank you.
conference.
Who's gonna fight for you?